The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Coming up on the broadcast tonight, with more interest to travel around the Salisbury community, SUTV's Jackie Watkowski brings us a story about the transportation service GullRide that can be the means of getting to class on a low college budget. A popular radio has been hitting the airwaves with WXSU, and they've been making big moves across campus. We'll hear from the radio station and personalities about their plans at SU and their sudden popularity this semester. And as the field hockey team gets another win on Sunday, Jessica Ree has your sports update. This is SUTV Evening News. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight on SUTV Evening News on this Wednesday, November 19th, 2014. I'm Taylor Rogers. We begin our broadcast tonight with a look into a different mode of transportation available for the SU community. SUTV News correspondent Jackie Watkowski has this story.
A new Salisbury University carpooling system helps commuters connect with one another and save the environment. It's called GullRide. Long-distance commuter Jacqueline Stewart says she may give it a try.
I live really far away from campus, and it would be really great to have a couple people to ride with every day, switch off and on who drives. So I think it's a great idea.
GullRide is only available to Salisbury University students, faculty, and staff, and can help those who have no access to public transport. Carpooling also saves money for both the passenger and the driver. AAA estimates it costs about 60 cents per mile to operate a car. That's around $9,000 per year. If driver and riders split up the cost, both can save money. Then there's the environmental issues.
Carpooling will help, one, for safety and also for reduction of the emission of fossil fuels.
According to the Union of Concerned Scientists, cars and trucks account for nearly 1/5 of all U.S. emissions. Currently, there are roughly 100 students and about 20 faculty and staff members registered with GullRide. There is no cost to join, and the only money exchanged would be for gas. To register, go to GullRide's website. In Salisbury, I'm Jackie Watkowski reporting.
Thanks for that, Jackie. Well, University Police have added a new service department. Students, faculty, staff, and even the surrounding community can get their fingerprints taken at the police department. This is available for those applying for a job or checking information through the Maryland criminal justice system. The Fingerprint Services Department operates every Tuesday and Wednesday from 1 to 4 or by appointment, and payment is necessary depending on request. For more information on this application process, go to the university's website. And Salisbury University's Bridges program offers a unique opportunity to select freshmen to start their college career off through a partnership of Warwick Community College. Here's Andrew Johansson for more on that story.
The Salisbury University Bridges program, formerly called the Fall Fusion program, welcomes Warwick Community College students onto SU's campus early to help them get used to life on campus. Now a junior at SU, Michael Riley was one of those students a few years ago.
I would have been lost without Fall Fusion about managing my time correctly to experience the true college life.
The Bridges program works like this. Warwick students live in SU's residence halls and receive the same support as first-year SU students. When they finish at Warwick, they become admitted SU students. Seth Endicott helps run the Center for Student Achievement, a program that provides academic support to Bridges participants.
I think it's a really good way for students to get the attention they need, because going straight in Salisbury, sometimes they get lost in the shuffle.
SU administrators say students in the Bridges program take between 12 to 15 credits that meet SU's general education requirements. Students are then admitted to SU for the spring semester as long as they receive at least a 2.0 GPA. If they don't meet the qualifications, students are removed from the program and can't enroll at SU in the spring. Endicott says the Bridges program provides an opportunity to easily transition to a four-year school.
I think most students, coming in aren't proud of. They say, I just want to be a regular SU student, but by the end of their first semester, most of them say, well, this is a great experience.
This past year, the Fall Fusion program was reduced from 60 students to 30, and its name changed to SU Bridges. In Salisbury, I'm Andrew Johansson reporting.
Thanks, Andrew. This weekend was a good one for SU sports, especially our field hockey team. Here's sports correspondent Jessica Ree with your sports update.
It was a very exciting weekend for the field hockey team. These ladies are headed to the national championships following a thrilling 1-0 win against Wellesley College on Sunday afternoon at Siegel Stadium. Salisbury got a late goal from senior Summer Washburn. The Seagulls will be making the program's 13th national semifinal appearance. The game is scheduled for this Saturday in Lexington, Virginia against Bowdoin. The women's basketball team traveled to DeSales University for the Morgan Stanley Tip-Off Tournament. These ladies defeated the Bulldogs 72-61 on Sunday afternoon to win the championship. Their next game is scheduled for tonight at Catholic University. Unfortunately, the men's basketball team lost against Dixon College in the Optimist Tournament Championship game, 87-70, at Mag's Physical Activity Center. Tonight, they'll be facing off Wilson College at 7:30. The Salisbury University football team will get one more chance to take the field this season after being selected to play in the Eastern College Athletic Conference South Atlantic Bowl, and will be hosting Albright College on Saturday afternoon at Siegel Stadium. Men's and women cross-country team took part in the NCAA Division III Mid-East Regional Saturday morning, and the men's team placed 10th out of 47 schools with 327 points, while the women came in 24th, finishing in the top half of participating teams with 766 points. Thanks. Now back to you, Taylor.
Thanks for that, Jessica. This week is all about faculty appreciation, and we have student comments on their favorite faculty members.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to my RD, Becca. She's my neighbor and probably the nicest neighbor I've had. She's sweet and she's awesome.
I'd like to give thanks to everyone in the communications department for helping me out so far with my progress.
I would like to thank Miss Barb for all her morning hugs.
To give a shout out to Dr. Chen. My buddy Mike is in her class and she's always very energetic and happy to be at class, so I do really appreciate that, and her energy just rubs off on the entire class, so it's just awesome to come to class every day for geology. So I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Chen for the holidays.
And remember to give thanks to the faculty member that has helped you throughout your college experience. If you're looking for something to do this Friday, SU will honor International Education Week for the first time by spotlighting the students who have walked the halls of SU throughout the years. The Center for International Education will be set up in the Link of Nations from noon to 2 and will highlight the many different cultures amongst students and share their photos, work, and experiences from studying here compared to their home country. While you make your way across campus, you can be sure to see the hashtag TYFNS, otherwise known as Thank You for Not Snitching. Here's SUTV News' Sarah Wood with a closer look into these radio personalities.
Salisbury University's radio talk show, WXSU's Thank You for Not Snitching, has drawn some college students' interest through their talking name and logo. Thank You for Not Snitching, or TYFNS, is a radio talk show that addresses controversial topics on air. We sat down with one of the DJs from the show to discuss what they're all about.
We're trying to encourage free thinking, trying to encourage college students to find out. That's why when we started our marketing scheme of Chalk, and we didn't put Thank You for Not Snitching, we put TYFNS, so you would have to dig deeper in order to find out what you're really looking for. And in life, we believe that that's what you have to do. We don't believe that you should take any information, whether it's us giving it to you, your professor, at face value. You should always do some inner research for yourself.
With their perceived controversial content, there are rules and regulations that must be maintained. We sat down with WXSU faculty advisor Mike Camillo for his views on their interaction within these guidelines.
I like any radio show that promotes itself. I like any radio show that does something different than every single thing. It's college radio. You want to have something different. Hopefully they continue to follow the FCC guidelines in terms of what you can play and say on air. But we are mindful of them and other shows and want to make sure they continue to follow their guidelines and the university guidelines.
And student general manager of WXSU explained her thoughts on Thank You for Not Snitching self-expression.
It's just like every other show that we have here. We let them play their own music, let them talk about what they want to talk. They can talk about anything that comes to their mind, basically any strong topics that they feel about. They use the radio as their outlet or their source to communicate with the rest of the people.
For SUTV News, I'm Sarah Wood.
Thanks, Sarah. And now if we take a quick look back at our university's history this fall, we'll find that in 1957, Blackwell Library was first opened to the community. Dedicated after the second president, this new building was funded by the state legislature, which planned to have a college library and add lighting to the campus. This would become a popular spot for students throughout their educational experience to spend their time engulfed in their schoolwork. Since its opening, Blackwell Library has been remodeled several times but continues to sit in the heart of campus. And on this day in 1863, Abraham Lincoln delivered a speech to be forever remembered in our nation's history. In a time of war, the Gettysburg Address gave the Union citizens enough inspiration to continue fighting for the rights of the freedom and equality for all. This famous speech came 4 months after the Battle of Gettysburg, which continued for 3 days and was the last time the Confederates were able to invade the North. For those students from New Jersey, tomorrow will mark the 225th anniversary of this state's ratifying the Bill of Rights. After the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were enacted, the Anti-Federalists were concerned for the federal government abusing their control. Before Massachusetts would accept the Constitution, they mandated a Bill of Rights to be added to the Constitution, and James Madison drafted it later that year on Christmas Day. Well, the fall temperatures have been around lately because of the Typhoon Noir. As we informed you last week, this abnormal storm has caused record-breaking low temperatures for all 50 states. As of last night, Buffalo, New York received more than 70 inches of snow, which is equivalent to a year's worth. Several schools across the Northeast and Midwest have been closed due to the severe weather, and in Salisbury, we should be expecting an average 41 degrees, but the past few days have been experiencing temperatures as low as 26 degrees. The record low for this time of the year was in 1959 with 22 degrees, so make sure to dress warm when you're walking across campus. And next week, people across the country will be sitting down for a feast, commonly known as Thanksgiving dinner. We asked students their plans during the break and what they are most excited for.
This year, we're actually changing up our family tradition, and we're going out to dinner, and we're going to celebrate my dad's birthday since it's the first year I wasn't home to celebrate it with him.
I'm headed back to Long Island to spend time with my family. My cousin from Chicago is coming in, and we're going to have a big Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm more excited about the day after Thanksgiving because we're putting up all my Christmas decorations.
I think very similar to everyone else. I'm just going to go home, spend time with some family, get a nice mental break too, prepare myself for the end of this semester.
This year I'm going to my aunt's house, which is near Baltimore, and we kind of do that every year, so we're there, we're going to watch the parade and eat food.
Thanksgiving, I'm going back home to see my family and have Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, that's all for SUTV News this week. Next week, make sure to give thanks for those that make a difference in your life. From all of us here at SUTV News, we thank you for your dedication and viewership to this station. Good night.